Well, hello, and how are you doing this evening? I'm okay, I guess. I've had kind of an interesting 30 minutes getting prepped for this. For some reason, my computer just didn't want to load some software that I very much needed to do this. Then it tried to update it, and then it crashed. Not the computer, just the software. 3 or 4 times. Then I couldn't access it. You know, not the best way to start off a show. But that's okay. I was able to get my frustrations out. And now I'm here to have a chat with you, beautiful people, and talk about how we're feeling on this spring day. It's actually it was a lovely spring day in Canada's capital here of Ottawa. So I just need to adjust a few things here. The weather was quite gorgeous today, actually. Not gonna lie, I loved it, every second of it. It was warm and sunny. Well, warmer than it's been anyway. Much warmer than it's been. It wasn't. Hot, or actually, you still need a coat and a toque. It's still late winter weather in Ottawa, but it was dry today. There was nothing but sunshine, so the snow is melting, but the sidewalks are dry, which is nice. So I was out for a walk earlier before this, and I stopped off at the pub and had a beer, had a chat with a friend, and then came home, got prepped to do this, and here we are. So I'm having a pint. Nothing exciting this evening, just plain old Carlsberg. It was what was available. That's sometimes how it goes, you know. You just, when you want a beer, and the selection has been limited, you just go with what you can get. Oops, I'm just trying to adjust this. Okay, so yeah, one of my cameras isn't working correctly. If it's way out of whack. It's I can't seem to adjust any of the software for it because the software just didn't want to do what it's supposed to do. So I might have to reboot everything, but I wasn't prepared to do that before starting the show because it, takes a few minutes to get the computer booted up and up to full operational standards to stream. As it does take, one second. Why is that on? Sorry, weird things happening here in the background. It does take a fair bit of processing power to get it up to snuff to run this system. So there's just a little bit of an idea of what Command Central looks like. Yeah, lots of lights, lots of cameras. Not much action right now, but that's okay. I will sit here and endeavor to entertain you for a little bit. It's quiet, mellow Monday evening. How are you doing, Stephen? How's life treating you today? I had a strange work day myself. Not a terrible one, mind you, just a little odd because I work from home on Mondays on a relatively regular basis. There are times when I do have to go into the office. Today was not one of those days. I'm thankful for that. But it's been a strange computer programming or computer software operational day from start to finish. Trying to locate files today. Finally located them, and then in a meeting, and I'm like, let me share this with you. Show you how I've not been able to share it. And then I was able to share it. So, yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad to know this, Stephen. It's always good when we have good work days. And, sometimes you may be fortunate enough to be one of those individuals who loves what they do. I happen to be one of those people. But not every day is a great day at work. Today wasn't bad, just things didn't work out the way I needed them to. The technology was failing me, and I work with the technology, so go and figure. Oh, that's great, man. I'm glad you love what you do. I love what I do. This being one of the things I do, of course. But my Monday to Friday day job is, related to this field, technology-based. But you're right, yeah. Some days things just don't go the way you need them to, and it doesn't matter how much you love your job. Not every day is going to be sunshine and roses. Some days are going to be difficult. Some days are going to be stressful. Today was kind of a stressful day for me at work. And the stress is only that which I put on myself. There are no outside sources stressing me out at work, ever. I'm in charge of a department, so I have people I have to answer to, of course, but they never do anything but give me support. So I'm very fortunate when it comes to that. Very fortunate indeed. Just check on something here. There's a hockey game on over there. Switch it up so you can... Yeah, the Sens game is on. And they are winning, so I'm happy. So yeah, today was a trying day. I'm trying only because, like I said, the technology was kind of failing me a little bit today. That's okay. It happens, Tomorrow is another day, and the thing you need to remember is that pile of work that we left today will be there tomorrow. The pile never really gets any smaller. You know when the pile gets smaller? The day when you stop working. That's it. That pile of work will always be there. Because there's just more work to be done from one day to the next. So those are the days when I have to remind myself of this. It's going to be there tomorrow too. Tomorrow is another day. Today was not what I needed it to be, but that's okay. I got through today. And that is a victory. I'm standing here, seated here, I should say, right now, if we're going to be literal. I'm seated here at this moment in time, and that means I've had another day on this earth. So that's something to be thankful for. Even when the bad people win, and sometimes the bad people do, it's okay. You got to remember that you have another opportunity tomorrow to try and make up for today. Or, maybe I should rephrase that. You don't have to make up for today. When today doesn't work out the way you need it to, just put it behind you. Close the book on it. Start a new day tomorrow. In the words of Audrey Hepburn, each day is a gift. That's why they call it a present. The present? You can't change the past. We don't know what the future brings. So take that gift of a new day, which is the present, and make the best of it. That's what I intend to do tomorrow. I'll be in the office tomorrow, so some things that didn't work out today, hopefully can technologically get working for me tomorrow. somewhat breathe a sigh of relief just merely thinking about that. I know tomorrow will be better because I will do my best to make it that way. Mind over matter in that sense. And mind over matter works frequently, but not every time, of course. There are times when things just go sideways or south or, not the way you need them to. And that's okay. That was a day like today. That's when you pull up your socks, and put on your boots and tighten them up and adjust your belt, go to work. Just remember you have another day to do it tomorrow. And the day after that, the day after that. There's a saying I have at work that I got from a fella I worked with years ago. He said, there are 4 Mondays and a Friday. Or 4 Mondays and Poets' Day. Poets' Day is Friday, and it's an acronym. It can mean one of a couple of different things, but I'll give you 2 examples. Piss on everything, tomorrow's Saturday. And piss off early, tomorrow's Saturday. You make your choice. I always thought that was funny, and it got me through some rough work days when things weren't going great when I was on a construction site. I said, 2 more days till Friday. He goes, I said, what day? I said, no, it was more like, oh man, Wednesday, hump day. He goes, nope, this is the 3rd Monday of the week. 4 Mondays and 1 Friday. Or Poets' Day. You decide. And I've always thought of it that way ever since. 4 Mondays, 1 Friday. I mean, we worked 45 hours a week, on average, sometimes more. I mean, I work a lot right now. My day job's about 45 hours a week. 42 to 45. It fluctuates from one week to the next. And then I do a lot of production work, right? So that it's a lot of work, but I'm okay with that because I love all of it. 1 second. So yeah, focusing on the positive, which is sometimes, as anyone could, imagine or know or understand, is sometimes difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to try and focus on the positive, especially if things aren't going well for you in your daily life. Perhaps you're struggling with some depression or maybe some anxiety, or maybe you're going through something troubling in a relationship, a breakup or a divorce, or perhaps you've lost your job, or you're having money issues because, let's face it, this economy has not been kind to all of us. And what you need to try and do is remember that tomorrow is a new opportunity. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pump sunshine and rainbows, because sometimes things don't get better with a positive attitude. Sometimes things don't get better when you approach them with your best intentions. Sometimes, as I can attest, sometimes your brain chemicals go a little bit sideways. And when depression can take control of that, it's difficult to focus on anything good some days. As I said, I'd recently been going through the exhaustion phase of depression. That stage where you are tired all the time. No matter what you do, you just want to sleep. I'd like to think for the most part I'm over that now. Now I'm into the insomnia phase, which is worse, I guess, in a weird way. I don't know. And yes, you are correct, Stephen. Forcing yourself to be positive all the time is not healthy. Some days you need to do that because you need to get through the day and you need to function. I know that I've done that oftentimes in my life, where I'd get through Monday to Friday. Saturday morning would roll around and I'd either have the energy to get out of bed or I wouldn't, and I would be there for the next 2 days. And I used to battle internally with that. I used to think to myself, I'm missing out on something, or I should be doing something, or I should be taking part in something, or I should be doing the laundry or the dishes or shopping, or I should be doing something, which can add to the problem. It can pile on, because when you're so physically exhausted and so physically tired from the depression that you can't get out of bed, those are the days when you have to surrender to the fact that you're not going to be able to do the things you need to do, or want to do, or think you need to do. And that's part of the problem. You think you need to do them. 9 times out of 10, the only thing you need to do is eat, sleep, bathe, of course. That can be difficult in deep depression, but bathe, and go to work. Some days getting through the day is just enough. And those days, although as difficult as they are, if you can get through the day, go to sleep at night and wake up and have another day, then that's a victory. You've won. If you're here for one more day, you've won. And I do realize how sometimes that can be incredibly tough. It can be incredibly difficult. It can be incredibly challenging. Goodness knows I've had days where getting out of bed, the only reason I did it was because working in private sector, I get a total of 3 sick days a year. 3. We just went through a global pandemic where employers said, governments said, we're going to come up with a paid sick leave program. I still don't have one here. Like I said, I get 3 days a year, which really, if were I to get COVID, and I'm not going to get political, but were I to get COVID, I need to stay home a minimum of 5, according to provincial guidelines. My employer and the place that I work at, because I am contracted by a Crown Corp, they insist on 10 days. Now, much of my job can be done from home. Not all of it. But I can walk people through things, and with the aid of webcams and Microsoft Teams, we could make things work. So I count myself lucky in that sense that, I would still be able to work from home and earn a living. But not everybody has that. So in the past, I've had to take sick days when I was just mentally not there. Days when I just wanted to curl up into a ball, lie in bed, and weep nonstop. Maybe change the phrasing on that. I didn't want to do that. It's what I did. It's what I had to do because it was where my mental state was at the time, before I started this round of medication, which has been a life-changing, life-altering thing for me. Now, it doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes those old demons come crawling through and take over. Sometimes I can find myself to be very short-tempered and fly off the handle for the silliest of things. And as it turns out, all of those are symptoms of depression. They have multiple ways of affecting your heart, mind, soul, and body. And they can physically hurt too. Depression you can feel it physically throughout your whole body. It's an unpleasantness. And there's no medication that can help. I mean, enough of this will numb the pain, but it will only create a bigger problem the day after when you have a hardcore crash, because alcohol, remember, is a depressant. I'm doing good now, so I'm going to have a beer, right? But the thing is, you can numb away the pain with alcohol. Or maybe drugs, if that's your choice. I don't know. I only take the drugs that are prescribed to me, and they're pretty much for my mental health. Occasionally I need for my skin, for rosacea, tetracycline. When necessary, I take it. Tetracycline to help with rosacea, because rosacea is very painful. And I do have an ivermectin cream, but it's $250 for a very small tube of it. So sparingly use it, very sparingly, because oh my goodness gracious, that's a lot of money, and my insurance company doesn't cover it because it's a name brand product. And guess what? There's only one company in the world that makes it. There is no generic version, so I have no choice but to pay for it and then fight with my insurance company to get paid. I give them $60 a month. What am I giving them money for again? Also, they've been ripping me off because I pay $60 a month, so I should only pay $3 per prescription, and I've been paying $6, so I have to bring that up with my HR department and the insurance company and the pharmacy. And you see how a tiny little thing like that, ever so tiny, can really get under your skin. It's like a fleck of dust in your eye. It can create tremendous amounts of headaches and pain and anxiety and lead you to an angry point, and let's face it, nobody wants that. At least I certainly don't. I don't wish to be angry. I don't wish to be frustrated. And some days you just look at the problem and go, I don't need to deal with this right now. It does need to be dealt with, and I have to put it on the pile that says soon to be dealt with, because there's a deadline, so you need to do it soon. Some days the anxiety won't allow you to get into it. Some days the anxiety will stop you from looking at it or opening it, because you know what you're going to be seeing. So you go to open it up and go, I have to put that to the side. I can't emotionally deal with that right now. And there was a time where making that statement I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have said, this is where I am and I can't look at it. I need to put it off to the side because I can't deal with it at the moment. There was a time where I wouldn't have said that. Time has all long since passed, because I've come to believe that my discussing it here is helpful to somebody else somewhere who might not know that other people are going through this. That's why I share these things. I might be able to help somebody. That's why I do it. And I do understand that, it can be a lot. I understand that you might not be able to share the way I do. And And that's okay. I'm not asking you to share anything you don't want to. You don't have to share anything at all. If you wish to, we have this community here. That's what the chat is for. That's what the live stream is for, so we can have this conversation, so we can have an open, safe space for us to discuss what we're going through. And understand that anxiety is a killer, as is depression. Left untreated, they can destroy your life. I'm living evidence of that. Prior to medication, I was in a bad spot. Do I recommend medication for everybody? I recommend you speak with your doctor. That's what I recommend. It was a doctor friend who recommended the medication that I'm on to me, and I discussed it with my doctor. I was reluctant to start medication because the last time I was on it, it made me... yikes. But this one was known to have relatively fewer side effects, and the side effects that they do have are not life-altering in a negative way. If anything, one of them I've seen as a positive, one of them I've found interesting, and one of them is, I could do without. I used to wear contact lenses because I play a lot of sports, and, sertraline, or Zoloft as it's commonly referred to, which is the marketing name for the product, makes wearing contact lenses unbelievably uncomfortable. Like almost painful. Almost painful. When I go skiing or swimming or play hockey, because I'm a goalie, I put my contacts in. I know that I'm only going to be wearing them for a couple of hours at the most, so that makes life a little bit easier, but yeah, that's one of the side effects of the medication. Guess I'm kind of wandering here. I've got lots on my mind this evening. It's, thanks, Steve. It's, Stephen. It's, Carlsberg. It actually, like I said, it was what was available, so, But it's quite tasty, when you enjoy beer, and I do. And I enjoy a whiskey from time to time, too. Haven't had one since, I had one on St. Patrick's Day. Prior to that, I hadn't had one in a couple of weeks, so, I've got some whiskey. I'm not having any this evening. I don't feel like it. Need to be in the mood. I don't know if that makes any sense. So, I'm hopeful that my meandering, wandering brain can sometimes be of assistance to somebody else out there who's having a tough time in this world. If you've had a rough day, and Mondays I find can be quite rough for a lot of people. If you're fortunate enough to have a weekend, not everybody gets to have a weekend. I know a lot of people who are working 2 and 3 jobs, so a weekend is oftentimes out of the question, but I find Monday can be a very tough day of the week. Now, ordinarily, I like Mondays because I like my job. But some days it can be tough. Today was a tough Monday. And as a result, I'm having a beer, obviously. But I thought it would be healthy to have this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from Canada's capital of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Got to get the Little Nations capital plug in there, right? I get paid nothing for it, of course, but it's my home. And I thank you for coming out. My mind is wandering all over the place, and I do have another recording session shortly. So, I will leave you with these words. Remember that each day is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Those are the words of the late, great Audrey Hepburn. Take care, my friends. I will see you soon. Until then, please be well. Bye.